Hello and welcome to The Charismatic Voice. Today I have succumbed, like many of you perhaps, to winter sickness. But I'm here to tell you that whether it's a cold or the flu or a sinus infection, there are smart ways to treat yourself and your voice so that you can still sing or speak. I am not a doctor, but I have relied on my voice to make money for years, and knowing how drugs interact with your vocal cords is key to being a reliable performer. Your general pharmacist isn't going to be thinking about what minute reactions happen inside of your larynx, but as a vocalist, that matters. And if you'd like to read more extensively about any of the treatments or drugs I talk about in this video, I'll be posting links below. Let's begin with your first line of defense. You wake up, you have a runny nose, a sore throat, maybe you're starting to sneeze a little. Don't wait. Studies show that you can drastically reduce your overall sick time by combating it early. But before going into all of the medications you can possibly get at your local drugstore, let's talk about how to treat it without medicine. The most important thing to do is to get lots of sleep and drink tons of water. You probably also shouldn't be doing any strenuous exercise because you're going to need those reserves to fight this illness. And Grandma was definitely right when she told you to gargle salt water. This can help reduce inflammation and also clean the area. And you should also steam because that can help dislodge mucus and hydrate your vocal cords. I cannot recommend enough using a neti pot. Nasal irrigation is one of the best ways to clean and clear your sinuses. And believe me, when you're getting sick, your sinuses could use a bath. Every single laryngologist that I have ever been to or spoken with has recommended that professional vocalists use a neti pot. I personally prefer the pressurized bottle version, but you can also go with a little teapot. Now, everybody likes to talk about supplements when you're starting to get sick. Supplements can help boost your immune system, which is great, but the research is surprisingly controversial. Vitamin C, for example, does boost your immune system over time, but the research is inconclusive as to whether or not it will help once you've already gotten sick. In addition, there's one study that showed that vitamin C contributed to acid reflux and mild dehydration, which is particularly concerning for singers. For my part, I like to get my vitamin C in its natural form, like leafy greens or citrus fruits, because then it's more easily absorbed by my body. Other supplements like zinc, echinacea, and elderberry also look quite promising, but again, there's some controversial research. However, garlic has several proven health benefits, although the smell of it might be somewhat controversial. My favorite home treatment is the apple cider vinegar remedy, and I know a lot of other singers that swear by it too. Basically, you take some apple cider vinegar, you mix it with honey and some hot water, and then you drink it. And this really helps to just clear up the sinuses and the throat, which makes it easier to sing. If you'd like to try it, I'm going to post a link to that below. Now let's talk about drugs, but remember, I'm not a doctor. When taking medications, you want to target just where the symptoms are located at, and you want to target only the symptoms you have. This means that combo drugs like cold medicine or flu medicine, things like NyQuil or Dayquil, are probably not your best option. Combo medicines are a bunch of drugs smashed together in a pill or in a liquid, and they are made of the cheapest medicines, not necessarily the kind that you need or the dosage that you want. If you put all of these drugs into your body the moment you're feeling sick, you are drastically over-medicating, and it's probably going to take longer to get back to peak vocal performance. Plus, any drug that you swallow is going to affect your entire body. I'm going to say that again because this is very important for singers and speakers. Any drug that you swallow is going to affect your entire body. So say you take a pill to dry up your runny nose. That pill is going to affect all of your system, including your vocal cords, which are very sensitive to drying. And this could lead to you having a dry cough or a raspiness, or even just more swelling in your larynx. Instead, you want to treat just the problem where it's at. So treat just your runny nose instead of your whole body. Things like a neti pot or nasal sprays are great for this. And FYI, you totally can sing while you're sick, as long as it doesn't physically hurt or aggravate a cough. I'll be dropping a video soon about vocal exercises to do while you're sick, so if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn notifications on. Now let's talk about how to choose the right drugs for your symptoms that are also good for your vocal cords. At the initial onset, you're probably starting to experience some sneezing and a runny nose. Antihistamines are your drug of choice to combat this. Antihistamines block a chemical in your body called histamine, which causes your tissues to swell and itch. For a topical antihistamine, I recommend looking for a nasal spray with azolastine in it. For systemic antihistamines, you have two options. First generation antihistamines like diphenhydramine, which is the main ingredient in Benadryl, are going to make you drowsy, which is really good if you want to get some sleep. Second generation antihistamines won't make you drowsy, and they're often prescribed for things like allergies. But watch out, all antihistamines are very drying. My personal preference for a second generation antihistamine is fexofenadine. I find that it's less drying than others, although it does make me a little jittery. A great alternative for an antihistamine nasal spray is Flonase. You used to have a prescription to get Flonase, but now it's sold over the counter. And it's particularly awesome because it both blocks histamines and several other things that can contribute to inflammation and swelling in your sinuses. So it's technically a corticosteroid, but for our purposes, I'm grouping it with antihistamines. Now that we've taken care of your sneezing and runny nose, let's talk about the headache and sore throat. When you get sick, your body is going to be experiencing pain and inflammation. Medicines like Tylenol or acetaminophen target just the pain, but medicines like ibuprofen or naproxen, commonly known as Advil and Aleve, will target both the pain and the inflammation, and this has been shown to actually be more effective. However, if you're scheduled for a particularly taxing vocal performance, I recommend leaving off of the Advil or Aleve. These drugs work by thinning your blood, which can increase your risk of vocal hemorrhaging. Usually after about a day, you're going to experience some congestion, and decongestants will become your best friend. Decongestants work by reducing swelling in mucosal areas, and they actually make the vessels in your sinuses smaller. They can also help reduce postnasal drip, which means you won't be as likely to develop a cough. There are tons of decongestant sprays out there. One of the common ones is oxymetazoline or Afrin, but be careful, you shouldn't use it for more than 3 to 5 days, or you might develop rebound congestion, which is exactly what it sounds like. For systemic decongestants, you really only have two options, pseudoephedrine or phenylephrine. Pseudoephedrine has been shown to be significantly more effective, plus it's available in extended release tablets. However, it's more difficult to obtain because of its role in making meth. But all in all, it's totally worth it to go up to the pharmacy and show your ID to get some pseudoephedrine instead of some phenylephrine. Again, be careful because all decongestants are going to dry out your vocal cords. Hopefully you haven't developed a cough. If you followed all the information I just gave you, you're less likely to develop a cough. Coughing is the bane of all vocalists. But heaven forbid, you do develop a cough. There are two main kinds of medications to consider. Before you even take a systemic medication, please go steam or go get some lozenges, but get lozenges that don't have menthol because menthol can irritate your vocal cords. If your cough is dry and you're constantly hacking, you want to go for an antitussive or a cough suppressant. The most common one out there is dextromethorphan, which is found in Robitussin. But I recommend you check out Delsym, which has an ingredient in it that makes it last longer. Or if you're like me and you just can't stand the taste of cough syrup, you can take those little tiny gel pills. But if your cough is productive, kind of ooey gooey, then you're actually doing your body a favor by getting it out of your airways. In this case, you're going to want to take an expectorant, which thins the mucus. And I can't stress enough, drink tons of water. That will also help thin the mucus. Now, the only expectorant that's cleared for over-the-counter sales is guaifenesin, which you might find in Mucinex. Side note, a lot of singers prefer to take pseudoephedrine with guaifenesin, especially if they're really clogged up. I can personally swear by this because it's helped me through several performances. I have to say a few more important things before ending. First off, always follow the instructions on medications. And if your symptoms aren't getting better in 7 to 10 days, make an appointment to see your doctor. There's a chance that you have a more serious infection and you'll need a prescription. And if you're in a fix with a big performance coming up and this just isn't doing enough, make an appointment to see an otolaryngologist. In emergency situations, they can prescribe steroids, which will temporarily reduce swelling in your vocal folds. Well, I have to go now because I've been drinking so much water. If you found this video helpful, please like it, subscribe, maybe comment below. I'm glad I could make your life a little bit less miserable.